Hey guys, this is HTOMario, and I'm going to be showing you a Terran against Terran game. This is against PhilAyvi, and this was a good game from what I can remember. This definitely provides lots of learning opportunities. I used to have maps vetoed, and this was one of the maps that I had vetoed down. But I recently decided that I might as well just play every map and try to make my mech style work on every map. And it's proven to be interesting, but my win-loss ratio is still remaining about 60-70% in High Masters, Grandmaster level. My North America account is Grandmaster, my European account is #1 Master. My North America account is Grandmaster, my European account is #1 Master. So it should be about to be promoted, but I'm waiting for a spot to fill up. So this is showing a Neoplanet S. I don't play this map a lot. This is a really fun map, but it's really difficult to get your 4th base for mech because you stretch yourself from here to here. I was thinking maybe I should just use the gold as a 4th base so I could defend this position and then attack up here and then use a minimal amount of units and then try to retain this spot, and then I can defend this base and this base. But then I'm open to this area, so I could try to get this base and then get this one. But then I'm weakened from this section, and this is a much easier to defend 3rd because you just kind of hold this area and you can defend your 3rd from most attacks. You know, there's another way up there, but you can wall that off with supply depots and yada yada yada. So we open up 10 supply depot, 12 barracks, 13 refinery. We get 2 marines, then a reactor, and a factory. We throw down an expansion, a bunker at the front. We move our barracks over in this Terran against Terran to look for his base. We're just scouting him out. We're getting 2 Hellions, and we should be going into a starport and 2 widow mines. Yeah, so here we go. Starport, 2 widow mines, 2nd gas, and then in a moment we'll either be throwing down another factory or an armory, and if we go in armory it's most likely Hellbat drops, and if we go in for another factory we're most likely going to try to defend with Hellions. He does scan, and we throw down an engineering base so that we can prevent our own Hellbat drops, so we can prevent Widow Mine drops, so we can prevent Banshees. And we scout them out and we see, okay, this seems to be kind of standard play, you know, and we send this barracks back out. I do accidentally let this die. I mean, I send an SCV to repair it, but I fly over these huge rocks and he was never able to repair it, so that's a mistake I made. We're getting a missile turret in this line, and we're getting 2 widow mines here, so it's harder to drop on my expansion. And we're keeping our units kind of in our main, so we got this bunker to kind of watch the front, these 2 widow mines in the back, and we're kind of got our units in the main, and we're sending out a normal Hellion drop. We never got Hellbats, and we don't see a drop yet. We have 1 missile turret up here to spot for drops, and we get an armory. And now we're going up to 3 factories and 2 tech labs on each, and this allows us to get quite a few siege tanks if needed be. And I do drop behind here. I'm trying to pressure him and get rid of some of his workers, and here I get a huge worker kill. I actually end up killing 12 workers, which is a lot, but I'm only 10 workers ahead. And looking at his base, he's got up to 3 command centers, and I'm at 2 command centers. So even though that was a huge kill, the reason why everything of his was so far behind is because he went for the early command centers, and now he's able to catch up anyway. So it was worth it, and it does slow him down, but he's getting this 3rd base relatively fast now. So this is something that is not good for me, because he'll be able to catch up in economy in a moment. I do have my own command center going down, but if I don't scout this out soon, I'm going to have a problem. And I do have to build a new barrack, so I decided I was going to build one right here and then fly it over and check for the 3rd, because I need a new barracks to be able to make more factories. Anyway, back at my base, we've gone ahead and gotten a Viking just in case of Banshees. You know, medevacs drops. We get Blue Flame Hellion because we're getting a lot of Hellions. We got 2 siege tanks out, and we are actually producing a lot of Hellions, so we can be kind of mobile on this map. It's a big map, and here he should see the factory. I mean the barracks building. All he sees is 2 units, so he's not quite sure what this is, but this is the barracks. And we decide to poke around on the map, kind of poke at his third a little bit with these units, so we're going to go down here. And now that this barracks is finished, we're going to get a reactor on the starport. We're going to go through down 2 more factories, so we're going up to 5 factories. And poking up in here, we decide to back off because he's got siege tanks defending pretty well. We move this barracks over to kind of check for a base, but I think I decided to keep this SCV or send the SCV up top. Yeah, the SCV is going up top instead of the barracks. So to make sure that he's not stealing any expansions, and now that we've gotten a lot of Hellions to be really mobile on the map, we're going to be getting quite a few siege tanks in just a moment. And we are upgrading, and we're getting a greedy 4th base really fast. Trying to do a little bit of pressure here, but he was able to deter it with some good siege tanks placement. He's got 2 siege tanks here, and he's got some siege tanks here, so that's definitely some good placement on his part. And he's going into bio, but he's making it look like mech because he's getting a lot of siege tanks. So it's interesting. I mean, I see a lot of Marines and I see combat shields, but it's a very unique style that I don't see a lot. He's starting off with so many siege tanks. He pretty much didn't have a starport for forever. Now, back at my base, we've established our 3rd. We're getting our 6 gases up. We are walling this off with supply depots. And we got Hellions on patrol here. We got Hellion on patrol here outside the sensor tower. SCV up here, and then this base. So we know exactly what's going on around the map. We can most likely see any drop, and we can definitely see any ground attack moving out, so I can already get in position. So I'm not worried about being in position right now. I do need to make this an orbital command. Here we go. I was kind of taxing my minerals a little bit because I got this extra command center, and I have you know, this really great command center, and I went up to 5 factories, so I'm cutting SCVs a little bit to get these orbital commands because the mules are much stronger than SCVs, and they're like 4 SCVs, so I delay like an SCV and then I get 3 really fast just because of the mule. So as I'm moving up here, I did get a sensor tower here right at the edge, so I can see a huge portion, and I go up here to get into position, but he does back out, kind of goes around a little bit. And he does end up securing this spot, so I can't see if he's got this base right now. And I have to be careful because his army could be coming from any direction. I still have a widow mine here to help spot for drops. He's now officially taken this out, and I do send some Hellions back. I kind of move my army down a little bit, just in case, because I can see him coming up here in advance, but over here I can't quite as well. I don't want a siege line right here. I want to push him back so I can still get this expansion if needed. He's now also attacking this barracks, and I'm producing like 4 siege tanks at a time because I'm up to 4 tech labs, and then 2 Hellbats at a time, 2 Vikings. And I'm making another sensor tower right here so that I can really see the middle of the map. So now I have a pretty good idea of what's going on the map. And here it comes. So I can get back into position any day now. There we go. So he doesn't end up backing up because, you know, he knows I have a radar tower, and he doesn't want to quite engage me. He has more supply than I do. If you look at the unit count, he has 14 siege tanks to my 16, so to my 17. So he's not exactly far behind on the siege tank count. They're not quite all here though. He's got quite a few defending. He's got 2 siege tanks over here, one not in his control group. I don't think he has any in his base. And now we're establishing our 4th base before he does. So he's still building the command center for his 4th. So this is great because this allows us to get 2 extra gases mech, so which means even more siege tanks. So we're getting another barracks because we lost it again. We're also getting another starport, so we can outproduce him on Vikings and really establish air control. We have a lot of minerals, so we're going to go ahead and get 2 more command centers. I usually get an extra 2 command centers at either 3 or 4 bases in every matchup. And here he comes up, and we get a little bit in position, we siege, and then we use the siege tanks to target fire down the siege tanks first. and then the bio, so that the siege tanks can't do quite as much splash. We keep the ground. The bio is really squishy, but the siege tanks are the beefy units. And he comes up here and he does a drop, and I immediately pull my SCVs away, losing a few, but I move my command center, and I go ahead and attack up here. Or, no, sorry, I don't go ahead and attack up here, but I want to defend this spot, but it's hard because he's already sieged up, and he's got quite a few marauders, so it's really hard for me to push into this. And this base is currently exposed. He does scan up here to see that it is exposed too. I'm still producing a lot of units though. And now he's going to go ahead and push into the main base, because I don't have anything to quite defend there for a drop. And he doesn't quite have a lot of marines here. I'm able to take out his medevac, so he can't leave with these units. And I do send some units over here to defend this base. Some siege tanks. A few siege tanks up here to kill the drop. If we look at the units lost tab, it's pretty even. So that's definitely not something we want as a mech player. We want to be defending pretty well. The bio player wants to trade even in cost because most of his resources are in minerals, and minerals are really easy to acquire, and he's now up to 4 bases. I want to re-get this base, but he still has siege tanks over here. I see that he's got some units over here, so I have missile turrets going up, so he can't just drop right on top of my tanks. Send some more reinforcements to go ahead and defend this, and I see that he's sieging up just a few tanks, so he can't quite push in because I have these back tanks guarding it really well along this stretch. So I use this to target fire his siege tanks, all the ones in range. And then, having killed that bio, I go ahead and push into this because I have the high ground. He can't quite shoot at my tank, so I get 3 free tanks. Getting the medevac. Medevacs are huge. You always want to kill medevacs, which means with less drops. He's not quite as mobile. He can't quite stim as much, so I have a lot of siege tanks. I actually currently have 28 siege tanks in this Terran against Terran, and I kind of can just A-move over him at this specific location because most of his army isn't here. He actually doesn't have quite that much of an army. He's got a lot of siege tanks here, and he's got a lot in his production facility. So now I'm leaning up against his wall so I can shoot his production facilities. I'm pulling up just a few units over here so I can shell his third. And being right here, I can deny this huge section. I can fire on 3 barracks. His add-ons, I can almost fire on his ramp. And he's got a bit of a bad rally. So I still can't get this base. I'm going to be gearing this up in just a second. I have this base going. I wasn't unaware of this base until I scanned there. So now I send my Hellbats there, and I go attack here while I'm in position over here. And he's being kind of careful because he doesn't want to quite move in. So I moved out just a few siege tanks. I keep a group sieged, and then I siege right along this wall over here. So it's really hard for him to engage me because I can target fire down his units, and I siege up again farther away from the wall. I do lose a lot of siege tanks, but if you look at the resources lost, he's lost a lot more than me. He's lost this base, he's lost a few production facilities, he's lost a lot of SCVs trying to break this. It's 50 workers to 36 right now, and I've got Hellbats going on over here. I dropped my Vikings right on top of his siege tanks over here, and then attacked him with my normal tanks, dropping my mules at the 3rd base, which is now my 4th, I guess. And my production facility is still kind of doing the exact same thing, just producing a lot of siege tanks. I know he's got no air transition going on. I've got a few Vikings for medevacs, so siege tanks are kind of right now the backbone of my army with +3 attack. I haven't started my plus armor yet. That's definitely a mistake. I've denied this base. He could still possibly be up here. I know he doesn't have the gold because I have a Widow Mine here. And I've gone and sent this Hellbat to check out this base over here. Now, I'm defending this base because I have a sensor tower over here. I'm putting some missile turrets down in case of a drop, medevac, in case he flies over it. Rebuilding my wall. I feel like this is the place he would most likely attack because this is the direction he was trying to expand. And we're most likely going to want to attack back over here, so I'm expanding towards the direction I want to attack. He does have some units going up here, and I do reposition my army. I was going to send it up, and I'm kind of like changing my mind on where I want to defend, because I haven't seen anything here for a while, but now I do. And I also see something up here, so I have to split my army, and I do. I know that there's a wall here, so I go ahead and send a few siege tanks up, but he does back out. So I come back down here to defend. Siege on top of him, cancel this command center. Send part of my army back up here to defend, and some more reinforcements. So I siege over here, which makes it harder to get up this without getting shot at. Lift the command center, remove the SUVs. He's shooting down at this, so these tanks are kind of out of position. But now that I've killed some of the reinforcements, I go ahead and take out this section and re-land my command center. I reposition the siege tanks over here, and this allows me to, shell at this. And I still have a Whittle mine here, so I do believe this dies. I have a lot of SUVs that I need to transfer over. My production's still the same. Still a lot of siege tanks, armor, Hellbat. So siege tank Hellbat right now is mostly because I know that he's not transitioning to like Banshees, and I still have a few Vikings. He scans over here, and this base is starting to go ahead and get back up. And I'm also taking the gold because I haven't seen much movement in the middle. So taking this gold is kind of risky, but if it goes up, it's not terrible to defend. I can put some siege tanks up here. I can mass repair, put some siege tanks in this mineral line, and then they can kind of cover that side. I'm once again going for his cutthroat. For his throat. I'm going for his production facilities, moving this command center because he's now once again over there, killing some free medevacs. That's always good. Sieging up just a few of my tanks, and the action's kind of slowing down. I'm moving my tanks up to the high ground while my Hellbats attack. I want to move them out of the way. Getting this orbital command, so that's kind of huge. And I'm moving some siege tanks here so I can really fire upon them. Putting some siege tanks right here so I can fire in multiple directions. And this time we're going to try to be able to just completely take out his production facilities. But we still have to be a little careful. We do have to repair this orbital command. And now we have this gold established, and he is now aware of it. He's also dropping over here, so he's able to take out this orbital command while I'm trying to push in here. And he's going to try to drop on top of me. And this does pretty good. It kills a lot of... it weakens a lot of tanks, but my Vikings were able to stop him. And now I'm mobilizing here to defend this base. I'm putting a missile turret up so he can't drop on top of my tanks here. And then I'm getting my gas back over here. I sent some Hellbats to attack over here, some Hellbats to attack over here because he's got orbitals, no planetary fortresses. So while I'm attacking two different expansions, I'm shelling his main. I'm securing this position with a planetary fortress, some siege tanks, missile turret, and some units over here. These are empty, or I thought they were. Looked like it, but I guess it's just my vision, so I guess I couldn't see that. And I was about to start repairing the planetary right away, so I moved my SUVs. I moved my siege tanks right on top of the planetary, so he has to drop right there to be able to engage them. And if he runs in trying to attack it, this is a pretty well defended planetary on the gold base. So I've denied mining here. I've cut out most of his production facilities, and I've denied mining here, and I'm sending a Hellbat up here. And I got +2 armor on the way now, so my upgrades are lacking a lot this game. And I'm re-establishing this base, and I should be re-establishing this one pretty soon. So let's speed up the game a little bit. I'm moving some siege tanks back, just a few siege tanks here. I'm keeping them there. So I can, I'm sending some siege, so I can keep an eye on his production. Really deny anything moving out from over there. And I go back and I use the excess units. So I'm prepared to lose these. I know that I'm ahead in the macro game. I accidentally lose these. I didn't mean to. And now I go ahead and establish this game. I have a siege tank over here denying this base. Build a missile turret to make the command center fly away. And I'm coming over here to deny this base. And then go ahead and push into his natural third. This orbital command falls, which is a great victory for me. He must already be hurting on economy, and I'm sending some Hellbats too to really hurt his SUVs. And I find some production facilities. Now this command center is getting shelled, and it's gonna burn down and die. I'm pushing into this base. He really has nothing left at this stage. He was able to take this out with some drops and his remaining units. that he was able to produce. But now he's only got like one SUV, and the supply is 178 to 61, so he's just going around the map trying to do what he can. I cancel this, and he sees the tanks, and well, you know, he wasn't able to kill this planetary fortress, so it was overall a really good game. It focused a lot on positioning and how you can defend against drops and stuff like that, so I hope you guys enjoyed this game and were able to take something from it. And thanks for watching, guys. I hope you tune into more videos.